I started my first with 16 kids on me. And first day of the schooling, the first day of the term, at about 4 something in the afternoon, I was sitting at the staircase and I start crying.
In order to save cost that time, I was a one-man show. Oh,
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I was the cashier. I was the one who was doing the laundry, if you can say, doing the cleaning, everything. So, but then I did it for the love of what I wanted to do.
What is up, guys? My name is Charles Liew. Welcome to Biz Chat with Charles Liew, where we talk to real business people about real business stuff. But hey, why so serious? In this episode, we talk about making money versus making meaning. Which one should we actually focus on? Okay? And today, I think I have two very impressive meaning makers. To my left, I have Dr. Davis Belayong Banda from Animal Central Veterinary. And he's the founder and the director, okay? And also we have teacher Vicky Chua. She's a preschool operator of Krista Taman Centurion, okay? So let's jump straight into it. Why do you guys do what you do? Let's start with Vicky.
That all comes back to the point when I started my motherhood journey. So I think that actually triggered the whole thing. And back then I would say it's impulsive because I was very much younger.
Understand.
So just wanting to do something for my own children.
Yes.
After I've been hunting around, that I did not manage to see something that I want as a mother, as a parent.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Vicky. How about you? Like, why do you do what you do, Dr. Davis?
When I applied into uni, it's like when this choice came up, it's actually, I honestly didn't expect to have it, but then it's like when the choice came up, then I was like, okay. There were times that I thought that I was not going to be a good vet in uni, but then it's like, then there were times that I doubt myself, but then I just pulled through everything.
Let me ask you this. Why did you decide to start your own business? Like, your passion for children can very well manifest itself in the form of you working for someone else or working in different organizations. So why start a kindy? Starting a kindy can be the hardest thing ever. You have to deal with parents, you have to deal with crying children. Like, so why?
From the moment of the starting dot as a mother, then I was thinking that my twins are now 2 years old and they were approaching 3. So what should I do? So it was just a normal weekend where I went around and hunting for play school for them.
Okay,
Then I walked in on the Saturday, I remember. It was all the famous franchise kindergarten for your...
And that wasn't in Kuching, right?
No, it was back then in Malacca.
Yes. Okay.
So I stepped in and I got to admit, perhaps I'm a little bit of OCD, so I do care a lot and quite particular about cleanliness and hygiene and how the lighting, the ambience, and the first feeling when I walk into a school. Yes, the ambience. Yeah, I left a few schools after my visit on a Saturday without many young children. I saw the bottom of my feet. It was black. And I went in and most of the school were like dark and the lighting wasn't to my expectation. Yes. It just wasn't the picture that I wanted, and with the pillows, with the pacifier. Yes. After I've been praying for quite some time, I jumped directly. I brought myself up from the stop walking where, I started Krista, first to Krista in Malacca. So it's it's always not easy to be a pioneer of a brand.
Absolutely.
So I remember I started my first with 16 kids on me. And first day of the schooling, the first day of the term, at about 4 something in the afternoon, I was sitting at the staircase and I start crying. I went in with blind, with no expectation.
Sure, got it,
I don't know what was ahead of me.
Got it.
Yeah, so with my own...
So let me ask you this, any regrets? Using business as a vehicle to get to where you want to go in terms of your calling?
No. I perhaps back then I didn't even see it as a business. I just see it as a platform for where I want to grow my own children as what I want as a parent. And at the same time, I just knew that, okay, I'm doing this because not just my own two children in my own hand, but I have to take other children, other people's children as my own. I think that is a very significant statement that moved me until today. And this is my coming to 22 years, you know.
I want to go back to asking you, have you always loved animals? Because like you chose that as your field of study, right? So have you always loved animals since young or what?
When I started my own business, I only had a savings about, back in, it was the year of 2006. I only had a savings about 16,000 ringgit. So 16,000 ringgit, 4,000 down was to pay for the landlord. Left 12,000. 12,000 for your renovation and everything. So about 4,000 went out for renovation. And then at the end of the day, on opening day, I had zero balance in my savings account. So with zero balance in my savings account, I didn't want to go to my father and mother to borrow money and stuff like that. For the first 2 months, I didn't have any patients at all. 2 months, no customer at all. But then it's like, my first patient was not a dog or a cat. It was an old man. So he came to me and said, "Oh, can you help me? I cannot walk to the hospital." And I said, "Why don't I get you a cab to the hospital?" "No, I don't have any IC." So then I said, "Okay, so like, can you stitch me up?" So I was like, "Okay, I'm a veterinarian. I can't really."
He didn't know that, right? He didn't know that.
He didn't know. He knew, and then he saw like dogs and cats and everything. Then like he knew, but then he need his legs to get treated. So I stitched him up. Then after that, then I knew like when it was like people were asking for help, you just help. In order to save cost that time, I was a one-man show.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I was the cashier. I was the one who was doing the laundry, if you can say, doing the cleaning, everything. So, but then I did it for the love of what I wanted to do. So since 2006 until now, so I would say it is quite an exciting journey for me.
When did that love come about? Like what was it since childhood? Like since you were very young? Did you have a dog back then, or like what prompted this love for animals?
So when you love animals, as in a dog or a cat, which his entire life is focused in loving you, this dog or cat. So this is how we help our fellow human beings. Like we because like people nowadays, if you look around, like, you know, left and right, they say, "Oh, I can't sleep, I get depressed and everything." So but when you have a pet like who is focused like on loving you and all this thing, you can sleep easier, you get less stress, you can get like maybe in terms of like health.
Dr. Davis, you make me feel warm and fuzzy inside, you know, seriously. In actual fact, you love your neighbors, you love humans, and because these pets belong to humans, right? Like children belong to parents, so it takes love for parents to be able to deal with them, right? All of their complaints and everything. You have to, like, that patience comes from that love for human beings. Hey, these kind of people will say things like that. We appreciate the different kind of people, and it comes from a place of love as well. That's brilliant, guys. So we'll go to a break and we'll be back with more. See you guys after the break. And we're back, and we're still at Beach Chat with Charles Liew. And now we're going to ask Dr. Davis and Teacher Vicky about what challenges they face in the course of them trying to pursue meaning and not pursue money. Okay, we're going to start with Dr. Davis.
I would say we take in a lot of debts, to be honest here. Like, we have clients who don't pay. That's number one.
They can't afford to?
Yeah, they can't afford to pay. And then number two is like they would like to have like a stagger payment and stuff like that. So like, you know, some of our debts like goes up to 6 figures. So, but then like, you know, like for me,
like debts, like people owing you,
and organization as well.
Yeah, sure.
So the accountant will say, "Okay, how come you let this?"
They can't reconcile.
They can't so we need to send these people lawyer letters and stuff like that. I say it's okay. Like we just keep it somewhere. Then like in the book somewhere.
I can imagine that pain though, like, because you're doing this out of goodwill. You're a business, and it's a business. I've always said we're doing a business. We're not doing a charity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a difference there, because if it's a business, you will need to sustain that business. So we incur costs. At the very least, we need to break even. We may not try to seek to make a profit, but we need to at least break even, because it's not a charity. It's not categorized as a charity. It's so difficult when your lawyers or your accountants say to send that letter of demand. Like,
it's like the LHDN is going to say like, you should have like send all these lawyer letters, everything. I cannot like write this one, others go to jail and stuff like that. And then I say, this is part of the miracle itself. So I just like, let all some of the debt slide, and then like, then I.
When you say let the debt slide, because I think we are talking about business here. Yeah. Like when you say let the debt slide, what do you mean? Like you can't just write it off if it's 6 figures.
Yeah, it's a collection of debt. So that some of them, we just keep it there. I mean, it's like, but
it's
then
on account.
but then we can't really remind them every day. So, but then it's like, I'll say, but the amazing things, our business is still sustaining. Absolutely. I mean, it's like, and then we are growing as well. God helps,
I think from LHDN's perspective is, Dr. Davis must be using the money for himself. That's why there's a write-off on the account and things like that. So that's from their side, lah. So thank you so much for that story. Wow. Okay. How about you, Vicky? Like, what are the challenges that you have faced? Very broadly, right? In your course of pursuing meaning.
I think first thing is, of course, money issue. We do have bad debts. We do have parents who missing in action. But of course, the challenges, not to say just money, but parenting has changed from one era to another. Okay, so my job is also to share and to educate the parents. So my teachers, my team parenting the children, but I parenting the parents. I mean, I take that as a privilege that many parents come forward. So I would really love, and it's my great pleasure to share with them my experience work as a parent. Initially, when I moved back to Kuching, I find it quite hard because it's like the effort how much that we actually put in, but at the end, not to say I put lots of expectation or unreasonable kind of expectation to people that I work around. I also started my own 3 kindergarten from, I was the only one that climbing up the ladder to fix up all the classes, and I sweep the floor, I clean, I wash the toilet. Okay, yes, and I even cook for the kids. So it's like we all started from something very bottom and but being very genuine and very original. So but along the way, of course, there are challenges like friendships and you put on, and Charles would know very best, I would say best in knowing that when you put up something, or even it's just a messages or a design or an idea or the creativity, then that kills lots of your brand sales and take days and nights, and that is your baby. Hey, come on, that is my effort, very heartfelt effort. But people just took it and
overnight they have the same design, they have everything.
Even as I mean, it's like copycat, if you want to call that. It's like a bullet point, dot to dot, from a bullet point to a full stop. I mean that at once it was quite hurtful to me. Okay, because we know how much sweat and how much tears that in the midst.
So I guess like when Vicky shared about like me knowing what she has gone through is because we have talked about, like, for example, if you write an article, you know exactly why you paragraph it this way because you wanted to so you know exactly like all of the twists and turns, and then you see it copied the next day and you know it's from you because you decided to put a full stop there and they did too, right? So it's this kind of thing that actually challenge you at the very beginning, but then you come to terms that, hey, you know what? We are actually doing good work. We are actually putting work out there for people to copy, for that quality to be, to go
and
even
I believe
further.
God has the best timing, and eventually after over more than 10 years, then those people who involved in that copycat work kind of thing, then they actually came and approached out of nowhere, out in a blue moon out of nowhere that like ask for the confession and the forgiveness. It was like really shocked me. It's like, hey God, what's happening?
I still remember when we started like free health screenings. I still remember this is because we came up with this, like putting all of the health tests under one roof, under one canopy, for example. And then all of a sudden people started doing that, right? And I was like, and then, Christina was very stressed. I was like, hey, they're copying us. And I was like, isn't that good? We say we're trying to bring more affordable healthcare to people. So you actually want everyone to be doing this, everyone to be providing free health screening, instead of us being the only person doing it, 10 people doing the same thing. Isn't it better? Right? Because it helps with our ministry, it helps with our calling. Right? So I love that. So guys, we'll go to a break and we'll be back with more. And we're back, guys, to Biz Chat with Charles Liew, and we're still with Dr. Davis and Teacher Vicky. Last question. I'm very sure in our course to make meaning, we might have thought about it, but might have not. So I'm going to ask them this question, okay? Have you guys thought of giving up? In the course of me trying to make meaning, I've legitimately never thought about quitting. It has never even floated into my head. We lost money in the first 2 years just purely because we believe healthcare needed to be affordable. So we did a lot of free things for the public. All of our markup are so small and it was so difficult to sustain the business. But even then, I was telling myself, if we go bankrupt, so what? Wow. So what? There's always something else that God wants us to do. So I've never worried about going bankrupt, going down to zero. Many times, when we predict our finances, the operating costs and everything, golly, at the end of the month, we will go into negative. But still, we persist and persist and persist. And, it's so many tears, especially from Christina, so many tears, but we pulled through. And thank God for that. And so we've never thought about giving up is because at the end of the day, if we go bankrupt, so what? We're meant to do this, so do it with glee, do it with, gladness, right? So that's my story. So Vicky, so have you thought about giving up?
What makes me wanted to give up at times was like when I put myself first, is that I'm so tired and I'm so sick. I don't want to be doing this anymore. And anyway, my daughters are turning 23 this year. They are. So why should I still doing when you keep doing and keep giving and keep giving, but I think one thing that God really reminded me is, you see, your calling is you want to set a preschool along Jalan Sutong that is to serve the community of Kuching, the children in Kuching.
Yes. I think that's beautiful is because if we focus on money, then we use money as a measure. Yeah. And when money depletes, when you look at money also, then you tend to look at your competition as well. You tend to worry about all these things that people use as a measure. But if you look at, hey, I'm taking care of a group of people now. All of their families actually depend on their income and their income depends on me. And so you tend to look after your flock. You tend to look after the things that you do every day. Your ministry as well, children, animals, pet owners, parents, right? For us, our patients, surviving an extra day is an extra day spent with your family as well, right? So that's part of the things that we do. And so if we focus on these things that are eternal, it's very satisfying, I would say. It's fulfilling. And I've always contrasted the idea of fulfillment and happiness. There's a difference there. Fulfillment is at the end of the day, after you have a long day, before you go to bed, you think about what you did today, and you smile and say, that was a good day. Right?
And then the other thing, like when people always talk about is business like competitors. Some of them like, oh, I hate my competitor. I wish they weren't there. But the thing is, why there are competitors, you should really think about it. So the competitors are there for you to actually, when you work better and then when you are in the best of your industry, for you to guide them. You as a benchmark for them, so that they can okay, this is how things should be done. It's not like just because we are in Borneo, in Sarawak, okay, we are left behind in West Malaysia and stuff like that. We should be the ones that you're telling them, okay, this is how the way we should live. This is how business should be done.
I think like when we talk about competitors, they're only competitors if you see them as competitors. You know what I mean?
But it's in Nike, right? They say like, yeah, it's you're only second because of 1 second. But then it's like, you know,
Because
you
like,
don't
yeah, I
think
mean,
about-
a lot of times when people say, hey, there's a competitor, and then I thought, why haven't I thought about them as a competitor before? It's because I think when we go down a path that is so different, our calling is different, our motivation is different. It's so hard sometimes to actually see like who are actually trying to compete with you. Now, if they want to compete on equal ground, then they themselves would need to know that, hey, let's compete on meaning. We can't compete on money anymore because our motivation is not money. So if they compete on money, we'll always go down different paths. So until they realize this, it's hard to actually for us to take them as competitors. For sure, there'll be times when you feel like giving up, absolutely. So what advice would you be giving the meaning makers that are tuning in today?
The worst thing to have is to wait for your business to get better, to wait for opportunity to come. But sometimes people don't realize is like the reason why you are in the waiting place is because like God is trying to prepare you to become better. Maybe the problem is you. That's why you are in the waiting place. So that's why like, you know, why your accounts doesn't look good. So why is like, you know, why is the customers are not coming in, and then why is like, you know, people are always angry with you. If you don't change, or if you don't understand how it works, it can't never happen. So the thing is that, you know, keep up the faith, you know, just do what you can, stay positive.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Davis. How about you, Teacher Vicky? What advice would you give to meaning makers out there?
Do the right thing and do it right to me. And even though you may be the only one that is doing that, the only one out of 10. So it is okay if people don't see it. It is all right. But just keep your concise clear. To me personally, keep my concise clear and crystal clear, and serve with genuine heart. That is really what matters to me. Yeah.
Guys, we've come to the end of the show. At the end of the day, after the discussion of this topic, which I think you guys would know just by the spirit of the talk, that this is my favorite topic because this is what I truly believe in. For all of you guys out there struggling or trying to make meaning, just understand that whether or not you think you're doing well, you are actually trying to base that on a yardstick that may or may not be realistic, right? At the end of the day, just keep on doing, like what Vicky said, just keep on doing the right things, right? It doesn't matter if people agree with that thing that you do or that approach that you do. If you believe that is right, stick to it instead of following what other people are doing, right? So if you have a purpose, go towards that purpose and seek to serve people with all your heart. And at the end of the day, here's the thing about making meaning and making money. If you start out trying to make money, you may inadvertently make meaning. But the truth is, when you go after something like that, right, something that is that you can never finish pursuing, like making money, the truth is you may not make meaning, and that you may not even make money. When you try to set out to try to make meaning first, the truth is even if you fail to make money, when you try to make meaning, you will always make meaning, and so the meaning will always be there. Right, so that's the end of this episode, guys. Tune in next week for more. Until then, it is bye-bye for now. Ciao!